Got Brian here with me, helping run pits, get everything squared away, get to check it out. Got the V-Rod out, beautiful night, about 60 degrees, so should run really well. Not too hot, not too cold, shouldn't have any problems. So here soon, we're gonna try and get up through tech, run the bike, see how it does. Hey guys, just made our first two passes, 13.56 on the first one. Learning the bike, learning drag racing. Second one, it ran a 12.97, right?
Mm-hmm.
At 93 miles an hour, and I'll post those time cards up in this video. But I'm super excited. It should do the 11-second quarter miles that they promised from factory. It's crazy. It's almost 20 years old. It's still good. So with that being said, let's get out there and do it again.
You can hardly see because it's so dark.
All right, just like you saw, we're back from drag racing. It's a couple days later. I had a crazy weekend, been super busy, so a couple days for me, 5 seconds for you, no big deal. So drag racing went great. I'm gonna post the time slips, but I believe the first pass was like a 13.56 at 97 miles an hour. Like I said, dialing in what I'm capable of, what the bike's capable of. It's 20 years old at this point, so giving it a chance to warm up is a really big deal, and just making sure that everything is functioning correctly. I believe I said earlier in the video, if it runs a 15-second pass, fantastic for the first one. For my first time racing, and probably the first time it's ever been racing, definitely was just kind of a goal to start from. Like I said, we smashed that. It ran a 13.56 at 97 miles an hour. The second pass, I ended up letting out early. My inexperience, not so much the bike. It ran, I want to say it was a low 13 or high 12 for the second pass, which, like I said, phenomenal. The bike was supposed to run 11.5s in peak condition when it first came out. 12.5 is no slouch. The mile per hour is a little less at like 92. But the 60-foot times are awful, and that's on me. That's not the bike. That's just a matter of me learning. So as I get more practice and more of a chance to learn, I'm going to get better and hopefully ride to what this bike is capable of. The last pass, fantastic. I got footage of that. It ran a 12.5 at 110 miles an hour, which way exceeded my expectations for my very first time out. It was phenomenal. I actually screwed up and left my visor up for half of the pass before I realized it, let out of it, put the visor down, and it still ran its best time at, I think, a 12:50 something. So definitely room to improve, but a fantastic starting point. I'm super stoked. I'm ecstatic. The fact that the bike held together is a huge, huge plus. That was the one thing that concerned me, was just with all the work, not knowing the tune, everything that went into it, just making sure that it did not blow up. It's kind of to the point in these bikes' lives where the motor is worth what the bike is. So that's kind of just an unfortunate side of things. So now we're kind of in the prepping it for next week. Hopefully I'm going to get a chance to get out and go ride again. But there's some things I want to go over. These bikes actually have a sticker that says to check the oil every 100 miles. Obviously, we were beating on it pretty hard to get it to run 110 miles an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and prematurely check the oil, make sure there's nothing crazy, make sure that it still has oil. Check the radiator fluid, make sure it's topped off and good. I'm going to pull a spark plug to read it and just kind of check it over, make sure that it's not doing anything wild. The bike literally ran at the track. I warmed it up, ran it down the track, brought it back, sat for a second, ran it again, brought it back, and then ran it one more time. And then I pulled it onto the trailer and then drove it off the trailer. So the marks that are on the spark plugs should be pretty fresh to what the conditions it would have been in. So we can check that out, make sure that that's okay and that there's nothing crazy going on there. I'm looking for just to make sure it didn't completely destroy itself. Runs phenomenal still. No problems with it. I just want to make sure, just for my peace of mind, that I'm not hurting it more than it possibly could be hurt. So with that being said, I've already got the airbox off. I've got the seat open. I've started pulling the spark plug. For the rear cylinder, it's the easier one to get to. The front cylinder, I got to pull the battery, and I don't want to do it. So we're going to go simple and easy. Alright guys, so good news for us. Not for the drag racing side of it, but for the longevity of this bike. Really, really good news. Like I said, the tune, we don't know much about it. It came with the tune, so any speculation on it, I don't know. I know it runs fantastic. But apart from that, I don't know the tables. I don't know how it's running, if it runs rich, if it runs lean. This bike being as old as it is, even though it's got coil packs and a lot of modern features, it does not have O2 sensors, so it doesn't have the capability to self-learn and adjust. It operates off of a very, very simple table. So the spark plug, a little oxidation, but nothing crazy, but it actually has a black ring around the spark plug and kind of inside it where you can see the soot. So the good thing is it is not running rich. That's really, really good. Or it's running rich. It's not running lean, which is really, really good news. If you're running lean, it gives a chance for the engine to ping and detonate out of time. That can lead to blowing parts out of it, causing issues. So I will take rich over lean any day, especially at wide open throttle. If it runs lean, that we run the risk of losing this motor. So rich is good. I prefer fat and happy in this case, so I will take it 100%. That is fantastic. Well, not fantastic for times and maximum power. Typically running a little leaner is going to get you a little more power, a little more. If you get a little more advanced out of your spark, you get a little more power. But in my case, I think it's definitely better for the bike to run rich, keeping it fat and happy, not having any issues there, and hopefully keep it together for a while. So as y'all can see there, we got our oil cap here. Just want to make sure that it has oil. It's not having any issues there, and that we didn't burn excess oil or lose excess oil. I've already checked under the bike, checked all around it. I can't find a leak, so that's super great news. Kind of the next step would be to pull the drain plug, check for oil there, and check just to see if there's any metal debris or anything. Harley oil is expensive, and working on Harleys is expensive, and I just changed this oil. So I'm going to choose to run that risk and hope that I'm not having any issues there. So a big thing is to make sure that your bike is level, because it won't read right if it's not. Just like checking oil in a car, and wipe the dipstick. Go back in with it. I like to screw it down. Some guys don't, but I want to give it the best chance of reading. And that is awesome. Oil looks clean. It's to the max fill line. Probably could take some oil out of it. I'm not going to. It actually has the manufacturer's spec oil in it, so don't want to take any out. I'm okay with it having a little more oil. Again, it kills a little bit of power. If I was really hunting numbers, I would drain some oil out of it, because you lose some power just with loss of sloshing around large amounts of oil. They've actually been seen to pick up a little bit of power with less oil. Again, I really care about the longevity of this bike, and I do not want it in pieces. So good news there. So at this point, I'm going to check the fluids, make sure that there's no more leaks. Well, make sure there's not any leaks, period, and just kind of give it a once over. All right, so that's it. Just to recap, we just kind of checked everything over, checked oil, checked coolant, which it's actually read low on the stand. I typically measure it on its side, so that makes a big difference on that. I think they just assume that you're going to do that. Could be totally wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. Oil looks good. Brakes look good. I checked those off camera. Kind of checked the breather, checked down inside of the throttle bodies. Everything looks fine there. Just gave it a once over. It's not leaking. Everything looks great. Spark plugs even could be better. I mean, it could run it a little leaner and get a little more power, but like we talked about, fat is happy, and it's going to be better off that way. Just like I said, trying to keep parts in the thing. So with that being said, I wanted to make sure to give a big shout out to Brandon. He's a new subscriber. He was actually out at the track. He is the bike I was running against. I'll get you next time once I get a little better. But it was nice having someone kind of in the same class as me to run with. If not, I would have been running against a built Kawasaki dragster, and there was no chance I was going to win that race. So like I said, everything's been great. Bike runs great. Everything's good with it. Drag racing was a blast. Bike held together, and we'll get more of that content out. That's something I really enjoy doing, and I'm going to keep doing it. So make sure to like and subscribe. We'll get more passes up posted, and hope y'all have a great week.